So does anyone think that Mario Maker being $60 was maybe a little bit weird too? I mean, I know we can play custom levels in it and stuff, and that's nice. But does it really have enough to warrant a full price retail release? Because again, it's the first time I've ever paid $60, or maybe much of anything for a level editor before. I mean, like, Little Big Planet 2, or Little Big Planet in general, is all of those things, and has a fully featured single-player campaign. I don't believe this one does. It's just, you can play levels that other people made, and not even worlds, just individual levels. So it's like, I can already imagine about several, or like 3 or 4 different scenarios where you could have added more value into this just from that. You expected it to be like 15? Should be 40 tops. I thought it was 40, actually. For some reason, I had that in my head. But no, it was 60. Should be 30 or below. Oh, did I get an answer on whether or not I can go into that biome? I should probably just go there whether or not I can, because it's getting late already. It's not that far away either. People got so hyped for it, it's kind of stupid if you're not a Nick-tier level designer. Well, I appreciate the compliment, but I'm not sure that my level designing aptitude necessarily applies to Mario the same way it applies to Super Meat Boy. We're gonna see, though. I'm gonna give it a shot and see if I can make something fun. It's all about if I can, like, break the game in a way, or, like, find new creative ways to use it. Because that's the majority of what I had fun with doing with Super Meat Boy, was coming up with ways to use stuff that we already knew about in new ways. Not to be rude, but if you thought 60 was too much, why did you buy it? Because I still wanted it. I disagreed with the price point, but I still bought it. That's all. If I didn't buy it, then I wouldn't have it. That's... I don't know if that's like a really dismissive argument, but it's just sort of like there's not really a better answer than that. It's not like me saying, oh, well, because this costs too much and I don't buy it, that all of a sudden you're going to get the hint that it's too expensive. Obviously, they don't care. It's still going to sell 1 million copies whether I buy it or not. Alright, this does not have blue grass around it, so this might not actually work. Is this like when you pre-ordered Fallout 4? You know, I pre-ordered Fallout 4 because it had a huge discount. And I knew I was going to buy it the first day anyway, and it's also a digital copy, so it's not like... Well, there's no chance of it selling out either way. That's actually a bullshit argument. I didn't really give you a real argument there. But I knew I was going to buy it anyway, and getting it at a discount that I might not even see when it comes out seems like a positive idea. The egg will be on my face if it happens to be really broken. And it wouldn't be that surprising, but at the same time, you know, I did buy 3, and I did buy New Vegas, and I enjoyed both of them. I still do think that pre-ordering games is a bad idea, though. I just made an exception for myself, and I'm not saying that's okay. My problem is that digital versions cost just as much. Yeah, I agree, that's also ridiculous. And with Nintendo's bizarre policies, I don't know, maybe this is fixed by now, but it used to be that if your system broke, you, like, couldn't get refunds or couldn't get your games transferred to another system. So to not have the physical disc, it means you immediately lose value, so, like, they don't reflect that lost potential value anywhere else. Which just seems weird to me. Seems, like, ignorant of the way the industry works. You know, Nick, even though I teased you on Twitter about it, I respect your decision to buy Fallout 4 on pre-release because it's a perfectly reasonable argument. I'm fully aware I'm going to eat shit on buying it a little bit after launch. Oh, you probably won't, though. I just wanted to do it right then because I saw a discount, and saving like $15 seemed like a good idea. I also very rarely even buy games at launch. So this has actually been, it's a pretty good fall season for new stuff. And the reality is, like, when Afterbirth comes out, I'm probably just going to be binging on that the whole time anyway. Excuse me, does anybody know if this is where I should even be? It's also not quite the same as even if the game sucks and you can get a lot more value out of it than your average consumer can. Yeah, I guess that's true too. What am I fishing for? The quest item for today, which is what the jewelfish, I think it was called. I believe you're too low for that fish. Oh. Well, I don't have a lot of other options that are much higher though. Sky or surface? Well, I don't have an island though, so I don't... Wait. Oh, this is hollow? Oh, I'm an idiot. There's a freaking huge lake right there. I forgot that I had 2 patches. I should have just looked more carefully. No, it's okay, guys. I got it now. I was being a little too quick to jump to a conclusion. And that lake will probably give it to me fairly quickly as well. Still not a fan of the fact that I've got to do like 200 of these fishing missions. I know I don't need all of them, but man, that's a lot of missions. Fishing is not that interesting to do it that many times. 50 for the final achievement would have been just fine. Even 50 is a lot. It's not something that's going to happen quickly. Alright, so I've got a little bit of time left. Hopefully I'll make it. Oop. And hopefully with the size of this, should not take long. Playing some Guild Wars 2, Flan? Ah, that's the one. Pixie Fish. Sorry, I gave you the wrong name. The Jewelfish was before. How are you liking it? Just out of curiosity. Since it went free to play, I was a little surprised to see that. I've heard a lot of good things about Guild Wars, but I'm kind of picky about MMOs. Oh, cool. We got a bunch of fishing potions. Hooray. I don't even know. I guess I can check on my achievements how many fishing missions I've done. 14. So the next is at 25. So I've got a long way to go. And we're hoping to get items from finishing these fishing quests. I'm not getting any items right now, unfortunately. I do not have the cell phone. That's one of the things that I'm trying to get right now. I think I might only be missing one piece for it as well, so that'll be good. Bear sucks. What? Why does Bear suck? Bear does not suck. Bear's a good guy. I like Guild Wars 2 personally. I feel it does a lot of things right that a lot of other MMOs do wrong. However, it also doesn't have the years of stock content that WoW has. So it does lose a bit in there, and it's still in the tweaking stage of development. Is it? I thought it's been out for multiple years. Am I thinking of something else? Or is it just the way that MMOs are, you mean? Like that they come out and then they're not done for a long time after that? Alright, I've got a lot of potions. Let's take these with me. Where should I go? I guess back to the Hollow again? I mean, it's either the Hollow or the dungeon. I'll just keep clicking on all these things for a while. How many freaking buffs I've got? Ah! I almost didn't make it. Bear is okay. Bear out of 10. Don't have the tolerance for MMO communities anymore. I don't blame you. I feel kind of the same way. It just kind of feels like you're heading back into possible high school land of, you know, mixing a bunch of children and adults and weirdness. That sounded weird. But like the drama and stuff, I just don't have any tolerance or patience, so that's why I don't really play fighting games as much as I'd like to. Seems to come up a lot in those communities as well. How did you mod yourself a Dungeon Guardian pet? Oh, I shot the Dungeon Guardian until it died, and then I took its bone key. It was easier than I thought it would be, actually. Once I had the UFO, I could basically just fly across the sky shooting him with my dolphin gun the whole time. I recommend it. Yeah, I didn't mod it. I didn't understand what you were actually asking me at first, but no, it wasn't a mod. I have not used any mods with Terraria ever. Although, it does sound like a thing that might be fun to do, right? Like, maybe I could do a modded Terraria playthrough or something. It's kind of a drag that, like, I've done mostly all this stuff, and I want to fight more difficult enemies and different things, but there's just... I've seen it all, really. I hate that part. It's the worst. It's a giant open sandbox, and I don't get to do much in it. Maybe I should start my Starbound series. That would be something, right? I just hate doing this when it's like there's no semblance of order about when the game will be done with Starbound. I don't even know if they're going to just change the progression path again in some major way or what. Starbound is really good now. Well, that's good to hear. I always said that I would do a Starbound series eventually. I just was waiting for the 1.3 patch to happen. Now it's happened, and now I've made like 60 episodes of a Let's Play on it, and I don't know, maybe after a while more of this... I mean, obviously we need to still build a house. But yeah, after that, maybe come up with a new plan. A bit of a drag seeing the incredible loss of my viewership after I hadn't posted Terraria for a little while. Seems like people are not into Dandy the way that I was hoping, especially after yesterday's NLSS. Man, that was a little tough. But, I mean, it's cool that people are into me playing sandboxy games. I like that. I mean, to some degree, Terraria is one of my favorite games, so I have no problem with that. It's just whether or not I will have the same level of understanding with other games, and whether people would still find it interesting to watch me play them. I have not proven this yet. Maybe that'll be my thing. Maybe, you know, I'll end up being the Terraria / 2D sandbox game guy. I don't really want that to be the thing that I'm known for, though, but I think I have the potential to like a lot of that stuff. Yeah, I was really surprised that people were so hard on Dandy. I really didn't think it was that shockingly bad the way people were saying. But I also think there's always that circle jerk on the NLSS that people just all want to make a fuss where there isn't necessarily a fuss to be had. And it's a fun meme that, oh, if Nick recommended a game, it's gotta be awful, right? So the fact that Ryan also wasn't playing up that he loved the game either, it made it too easy for people, I guess. It was depressing, to be perfectly honest. I really was hoping people would love that game because I really like it. I completely grant that it doesn't have the depth of a game like The Binding of Isaac, but I don't understand why it has to be all or nothing in that respect. Can't we have a little bit of a latitude between? And I feel so bad for the developers every time when this stuff happens, because they were watching again and people were just being awful in the chat. It's like, this is not what I was hoping to provide you with. I wanted to play your game on the stream and hopefully help give you a few more eyes to see the game because I think it's fun. You know, there was no stake in this for me here. I just wanted to try and do a nice thing because I like the game, that's all. And to have it come back as like that I'm a shitty person because I recommended this game, and also why would anyone ever play this, and also it looks like a crappy iOS game. It's like, can we not say any of those things, really? It actually was like a little bit of why I was feeling so down today, in addition to the spider nonsense that I talked about earlier. But it did well to get me. I needed to get out of the house as well, as I've been cooped up in here for way too long. And the fact that the weather's getting cooler as well, it's like a really nice thing. And the other thing is, I don't necessarily expect that everyone is going to think the game is fantastic. It's just about, like, not being a huge dick is really all I'm asking for here. Like, if you don't think the game's for you, okay, we're going to play it for an hour. That's not a ton of time in the scheme of our lives. And if you hate it, it probably won't come back. And I can tell you now, based on that reaction, it won't come back. Now, I don't think that had the reaction have been much better than that, like, even if the reaction was stellar, it still is up to Ryan whether or not he wants to play a game, and if he wasn't super into it, then we're not going to end up playing it again. So, yeah, it's just, it's overkill. And unless this is probably a bad platform to try and showcase new games in IMO, making a first look YouTube video would probably be better since there's no Twitch chat. Well, I agree with you that that is the way that things seem to turn out. I just don't necessarily believe that it has to be that way. We used to play new games all the time, and it seemed like the viewership was a lot less angry. And the fact that, like, hey, I'm on this show with Ryan all the time, and yet people are still just being completely just brazen assholes to me for some reason. I mean, before the show even started, somebody said something that was like, Ryan, I love you so much, why do you make me have to listen to Nick 3 times a week? And I was like, alright, hi, I'm here, I'm reading this too. I get not everybody's going to be on their best behavior, and it's like, it's anonymous, they don't really have to be either. Just, it's a bit of a buzzkill when you think you've got this community of really cool people that all seem to have some sort of mutual respect. And to know that there's this sort of reasonably pervasive attitude that's like, yeah, we'd really much rather you weren't here at all. I find that to be a bit of a drag sometimes. Thanks, Lamberjams. I'm not even trying to just shill the game so people will just buy it outright. It's just more about the just, like, don't tell me I'm an asshole for suggesting it. But it is good that you bought it if you were into it. And I thought that actually Ryan's chat was a little bit better than it maybe has turned to be. I think there was a point where we had better control over the community than we do now. And now it's just kind of like anything goes, I guess. I mean, the fact that his rules still says, like, no memes or something, I don't know. At this point, it's just kind of irony. It's not a popularity contest either, which is the other thing, and I don't want you to like me more than Ryan, or Ryan more than me, or anything like that. I just want respect between all of us is all. I don't really, like, I mean, I care, but, like, it's not the end of the world if some people like Ryan's personality more than they like mine. That's just fine. That's the way it works. Not everybody appeals to everybody. We all have different senses of what we look for in people that we're interested in listening to, and I will absolutely admit to anyone that asks that I believe Ryan is a much more charismatic and interesting person to listen to than me. I think he's a lot funnier, he's a lot more witty and referential, and very likely more intelligent in general. But that doesn't necessarily matter, it's just those are things that people might be attracted to as they look for streaming personalities and such. I think that I might have my own level of insight into game design that hopefully is interesting for people to listen to. I think I'm fairly articulate, and I think the dynamic that Ryan and I have is very entertaining most of the time. I have fun being a part of it, and a lot of the time I think it carries pretty well to camera as well. So yeah, it's disheartening to see that people are so angry at me sometimes when I'm not doing anything, I just want to have fun. It's a show about playing video games on the internet, like, why does there have to be any drama at all? You know? I mean, I don't think people watch us for our skill in video games. I'm okay at speedrunning Super Meat Boy, but I'm not like BizSnap. I mean, and Ryan's not like Cobalt when it comes to Isaac, although Ryan's really good at Isaac as well. And I think I'm okay at Isaac, too. I'm not selling myself short in that respect. But it's just weird. It's all weird. You ever listen to Night Vale? I don't know. think that name sounds fairly familiar. I might have. Oh, I know the vast majority love me. I don't even mean to say it like I don't know that that's the case already. It's just the fact that there's people that need to make a statement about how much they don't love me. Like, if you hate me, then maybe just kind of keep it to yourself. I mean, maybe that's asking too much. I don't know. I think maybe it's more the fact that people, and I'm still, like, figuring out what my attitude even is here, because I'm not entirely sure, but the feeling that they want to gather, like, pitchforks and torches against me, maybe, is the feeling. Like, that they want to inspire others to have the same, or they want to meet others that have the same attitude so they can rally around that concept. When in the reality is, like, this is what the show is. If you're not into it, that's fine. Nobody's forcing you to watch. But the fact that you want to, like, exert your influence over the show and be angry about it, I don't understand that part. When Arumba declared war on NL and EU4, his subs came over and shit in his comment section. Why did they do that? They do know this is a video game, right? Like, this is not actual war between two people? That we can still be friends even if we play a video game together? It's all good. I think this was just a moment of catharsis. Maybe I needed to get it off my chest or something. Silly shit. Did I come in an odd moment, or is it rant hour? I think you came in at a fine moment. I think rant hour is over now. It's, the reason that it comes up so often, too, is it's like, I get into moments in my personal life where I feel vulnerable in various ways, or like my psychology doesn't feel quite as strong, and then these things get to me more than they should, and then I end up leaving angry comments against people in my comment sections when they say mean things to me, which I know is not the right way to go about it. I have, like, the PR version of myself that I know better. And, I mean, I had to represent GameStop for, like, 7 years. I know what the right and wrong things are to say. And sometimes I give myself a little gift and say, well, today, you can be a bit of a dick back to someone when they're a dick to you. That you've earned it, right? And I know that's not a good attitude to have. That's actually quite negative and poisonous. I don't know, but then at the same time, like, well, you need to let things off your chest occasionally. I don't know. Alright, here's a new question that I can talk about. Well, two of them, actually. Hey, Nick, how is MTG coming along? We've been wanting to start this for ages, and, well, we were waiting for this back and forth to happen about whether or not we were going to get vouchers to get cards, or how that was going to go, and I think we're not getting vouchers. I think they're reimbursing us for them. But the tricky thing is, for us to play, like, we need more than just the default cards, and it takes a really long time to unlock them. So I think we might just have to bite it on the first few episodes and just play with, like, pre-made decks that are not very good until we can get better ones. But we were waiting for this email to come back and forth for a long time, and it finally just happened the other day. So we could probably start recording, like, as of tomorrow, for Monday, I guess. And the other thing is if I can get Rob. So it's, yeah, there's a lot of moving parts to this, as much as it seems like it should have been done a month ago, and it honestly should have been done a month ago. I have come under the impression that drama and turn sort of things are a result of people protecting their insecurities out in front of them to search for people that feel similarly about their opinions, and as people notice a conflict, be it artificial or legitimate, they amplify and fixate on it so as to add supposed meaning to their insignificant existences. Well, okay, that last part might have been a little bit much, but I gotcha, and I think that's probably quite true. I'm pretty decent when it comes to human psychology. I think that's a thing that I think about a lot more than probably I even should, because I have anxiety, so I fixate on these things. So the way that people play off of each other, I get it, and I think largely internally I understand. It's just sort of this quandary that I have to deal with of, like, my own personality balancing against my ability to handle negativity. It's been a long time struggle for me, and I've not necessarily come to the feeling of internal peace that will allow me to accept all things, and I need that. I need to figure that out. What was the other question? Oh, someone asked if Indie Impressions is coming back. You know, actually, just as of 2 days ago, I was having an itch a little bit to play a couple games. Perhaps... Oh, there it is, the hallowed key. We finally got the drop we were after. Fantastic. Perhaps for October, maybe when I go away to Ireland, maybe I'll set up a few Indie Impressions to go up. I think that could be a fun thing to do and would be like a nice, happy moment. Also got to get used to that. We're back into school time, which means that there will not be as many viewers around, unfortunately. Do something. I have been, believe it or not. Unfortunately, this is the nature of a Terraria grinding stream, is jumping back and forth and fighting enemies 100,000 times. But we got what we were after. We finally got the hallowed key, and that means we can go unlock the hallowed chest, which I may as well do right now because I don't understand why I wouldn't. We're actually fairly close to the dungeon, so I'll just pop down there. Why did I decide to start an Indie Impression series? I was coming off of a very negative time in my life, probably the most negative time in my life. I was dealing with splitting up with my ex, and struggling with not really knowing what I needed to do with myself for a job. Oh, I've got to get rid of this dragon. Go away, dragon. I had finished school, you know, I finished my graphic design courses. I had gone to school for 2 years, got an associate's, then transferred, and then did a 4-year degree. And then when I got out of school, it's like, man, I'm still working at GameStop, and I didn't really know what to do with myself. And then I eventually got hired to do this web design, graphic design job that ended up being under the scam artist guy who then disappeared. Everything went really bad, and I was just finding myself in this position that's like, well, I really don't know that I want to do this for a living, this whole graphic design thing. What can I do to make me still part of video games? Because that's what I'm actually the most passionate about and always have been throughout my whole life. I felt like I needed to have like a grown-up job, and that's just not a thing. You have a job doing whatever you feel comfortable doing. It doesn't matter what it is. You do what you do for you, and hopefully it works out and makes you happy. And I didn't quite understand that at the time, and I thought I needed to do something to impress people, make lots of money and all of that, and, you know, that's not really what I'm about. I don't really care about the money beyond what I need to survive. So I decided, hey, I've been really frustrated with the way AAA game development has been for ages. Why don't I get involved in checking out a bunch of indie games? Like, I had really good positive reception with things like Limbo and Bastion and Super Meat Boy, obviously, and Castle Crashers, and all of those games I regard very highly, and thought, hey, maybe there's something going on here. Maybe there's a little subtext, a little bit of a, like, an underground movement of, you know, a new direction that maybe the games industry could go in, and I still believe that that is the case. So I said, hey, I'll try something a bit outlandish. I'll throw myself right into the fire. I'll make a video every day and see where I get. And that's where I started off doing indie impressions. I wanted to see how long I could continue doing it. And I made it for, what was it, like 2.5 years? No, it was 3? 369. Yeah, it was over 1,000 episodes, so it's like, no, it's about 3 years. And after a while, I got a bit jaded to it, or maybe just needed a break. I was starting to burn out, and I just decided, hey, let's take a break for a while, do some other stuff, play some Terraria, as it turns out. And I've been having a fun time doing that as well. Alright, so we've got our rainbow gun. We've got more alarm clocks that I don't need. Might be too personal, but how does your family feel about this? Apprehensive at first, but fine with it now. I think really the only impetus here was just that I make enough money to get by, and, you know, I am, so I'm living the dream. I don't come from a background of, like, doctors and lawyers or anything, so it's really just about whatever you can do. So I think there was an achievement for shooting the rainbow gun with something. Let me see what that was. Obtain the rainbow rod. Oh, maybe not. Oh, no, there it is. Fire the rainbow gun while riding on a unicorn. Yeah, I can do that right now. Nick Q&A, when did you start playing guitar? Probably like 12 or 13 years old. I can't actually remember what year it was. I got a Dan Electro bass for my birthday, I think it was. I was expressing interest in playing bass or learning how to play bass, and I just messed around with it for a while, ended up being in a band in high school. Had a really fun time with that. And at some point in there, I got a really cheap, like, Walmart guitar, and I just kind of played around with it and had a good time. I've never really had any proper formal training. I mean, okay, well, I guess I've had, like, a couple of lessons, but I haven't had, like, serious training. There it is. So I'm not, like, very good at it or anything. There we go. Rainbows and Unicorns, achievement unlocked. It's a pretty picture on that achievement. Now, the rainbow gun is not very good, unfortunately, but it's very cool looking. So I'm probably just going to put it in the chest and kind of call it a day on that. It seems so silly to go through all this trouble to get the hollowed key, to just get a thing out of a chest and then immediately put it away, but such is the nature of Terraria grinding, unfortunately. Unicorn is demonic, yeah, it's got some sort of cosmos design behind it. Paladin shield I had, right? Pretty sure I had that. Yep, there's one. 4% melee versus 3% defense. Probably take the one that gives you the defense. Guns and bows, and this is 51 magic. That will put it right about here. I'm not sure where this ice bow came from, but I already have one, so we can sell that. Have you considered doing an indie impression style stream and play a few short artistic games to discuss them in the chat? I have, actually, thought about that. And one of the possibilities that I'm considering is... and I always wait, generally, before I say this stuff out loud, because I always might change my mind, but I'll just go ahead and say it anyway. In the event that, for some reason, I become not interested in continuing... again, down the YouTube route, and I know I've said this 100 times, and I've always not done it. But if that does happen, then I would make it a weekly staple to do, at least once a week, some sort of indie episode of a stream that would be focused around, say, maybe 3, maybe an hour with each, or depending on the length of the game. Some games are not conducive to an hour of gameplay. The difficult thing about that is vetting them, because you don't know how long they're going to be until you play them half the time, so I don't know how long or how many games I need to have queued up, but maybe I just have go into my folder, just play as many as I can that day. Just got here, miss anything? I found a hollowed key so far, that's pretty much been the majority of it. Did I miss the fishing mission on this day? I kind of have not been keeping close track. Crimson, you want me to catch a ichor fish. Do I still have time to make it? Maybe. I think I'll make it. How far away? Oh, well, should probably wait until I'm actually scooting a bit better. I think I had a fishing spot set up, right? Oh yeah, this right down here. What would you do if you quit YouTube? I would probably just stream every day. It really doesn't even sound all that bad. Having the freedom to not really worry about all of the background stuff with YouTube, that would be great. That would be so many hours saved that I could actually be playing games instead of looking at freaking white windows full of text. It doesn't seem like it would be annoying, you know, if you do a few videos, but after thousands of them, it starts to really add up the amount of time that you spend looking at that stuff. Creating thumbnails constantly for things, trying to plan out schedules of when things are going to go up, uploading and then having issues, like all of that stuff really does add up time. You're heading out? Alright, see you later, Sir Matthias. Have I played Mad Max yet? No, I just watched Rob play a little bit of it. I didn't really know what to think about that game. I thought it was going to be really cool. It looked maybe a little formulaic. Doesn't seem bad, but I don't know if I want to play it, though. And if I did, I'd probably rather have gotten it when it was like $30 on GMG. Walls of text, you mean YouTube? Yes. I mean, like, setting up descriptions for videos. Oh, we got it already. Wow, that was easy. I have this whole series of documents that have, like, copy-paste stuff that I pull out of them, and then I have to add custom stuff to the top, but, like, all the links for people and stuff. I make sure I make a point of that. When people are in videos with me, I really like to make sure that I link them properly. I don't even think it really does much, really. I don't think a lot of people follow those links, but it feels like the most, you know, proper way to do it, like, respectful. You know, if somebody's gonna hang out with me on a video, they should have the ability to have people find their channel from it. No offense, Nick, that sort of stuff is exactly why I didn't really consider doing YouTube, but really want to try again into Twitch streaming. Why would I take offense to that? I'm not especially attached to YouTube as a concept. I mean, honestly, it's put me through a whole lot of shit over the years, but it's also been good to me in ways, too. I just think, honestly, I have more fun doing Twitch stuff, largely, and the amount of games that I would get to play through if every day was just streaming, it would just go up drastically if that was the case. So I guess I need to go back to the dungeon now. So I've got a bit of time until the next fishing mission. Oh, excuse me. The only other thing I could think to do is go to corruption, but I don't have corruption here, so I'd have to build some. Actually, I can't even build some. I'd have to go to a corruption world to get the seeds to be able to build it here. You talk about a lot about Twitch. Would you ever stop streaming, or is there anything if Twitch did would stop you from streaming? If they got like a really, really awful content ID policy, sort of like what YouTube has been getting, well, I won't say they've been getting worse with, but with the incredible perseverance of Nintendo and Capcom of claiming things that are years old, if that started to become a huge widespread issue somehow on Twitch, that would probably be a bit of a problem. And I guess as long as there's a new startup, like as long as you're under the radar for a while, like nobody's really worrying about content ID, copyright stuff yet, and then eventually they become of a certain level of legality where they need to start caring about that stuff whether they want to or not. And Twitch reached that about a year and a half ago. I'm not saying that would necessarily stop me from streaming, but it would probably change a little bit about what I do. I would be a bit more reticent about streaming some games. I got really tired when I kept getting Konami warnings for speedrunning Silent Hill 3. Yeah, that's so freaking stupid, man. You shouldn't have to worry about that garbage. I have this really old series that I did with Anza, Sons of Pixels on DMC, and like every few days another one of the episodes gets claimed by Capcom, and I'm not even bothering with them. I'm probably just going to take down the whole series because the whole thing got like less than 1,000 views. So it's not going to make a major impact to my channel one way or another. It's not like they're getting a bunch of money from it. It's more just I really don't like having content ID matches on my account. I like knowing that whatever issue has cropped up that I've dealt with it and it's behind me now. And especially if you're dealing with any kind of support issue or talking to partner help or things like that, they don't like seeing those on your account. So it's stupid, but like it's this little crap that eats away at you. Why did I use a bee there? I should have just popped the battle potion. Now I just wasted all of my fishing potions that I'm actually going to need. Lame. Well, that's very frustrating. I wish I hadn't done that. Thoughts on YouTube streaming? I don't have many thoughts on it because I can't. I have a contract with Twitch. I mostly don't really want to anyway because, well, they're not really offering much that's any better, and also they do have a live content ID match system, which seems really annoying. I mean, I don't go out of my way to cause issues with that kind of thing, but to have to then worry about it even while I'm live seems just ridiculous to me. You shall end up with more fishing potions than you'll ever need. Okay, good. I guess. Time to watch an old series. What was it called? I'd love to watch it before it goes down. It was the Sons of Pixels on Devil May Cry DMC. The what was it, 2012 Devil May Cry game? I can't remember what year it came out. The newest one, though. It was actually not... I wasn't even playing it. It was Anzo was playing it, and I was doing commentary with him. We did a series together, and we would co-commentate games, and we would alternate playing. You like the Shroomite digging claws? Yeah, they're fantastic. They're my favorite. They're so freaking fast. I know that there's another good one that's maybe even better than that, but I just like how ridiculously fast they are, even though the range is awful. The only time I'll probably watch anything from YouTube Gaming is when the Let's Play guys do something from it. I don't really know who they are. I've watched like one video by them. I'm amazingly like out of the loop when it comes to a lot of the big names on YouTube. I think I've said this before, but I didn't even know that like Rooster Teeth were a big deal until I was at PAX, and then someone saw one of them, and then it was like a freaking rush. Like, I didn't know that that mattered. I was like, okay, I figured they're another channel, they're doing their own thing. And no, they're like legit super famous, I guess. It's real weird. People play Minecraft, and then they get really, really famous. And then you get action figures made of you because you played Minecraft. I don't really get it. I know there's a certain degree of, like, ironic self-hatred going on in what I'm saying right now, but it's just weird to me sometimes. I'm not saying I'm better for playing Terraria, either, and I'm also not saying I'm famous, either, so don't get the wrong idea. Just the degree of incredible gravitas that some of these people have, I guess, is what I'm really commenting on here. Starting a popular machinima series helps. Red versus blue, right. Clearly you should just play Minecraft. Yeah, I don't even dislike Minecraft. It's just, it's such a stereotype of a thing to do, I guess. Also, I worry a little bit that it would dampen the quality of discussion that we could have, because I know the following is predominantly... I don't know if predominantly is the right word, but there's a lot of younger people that really, really love Minecraft. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I do like having my comment sections not be riddled with gross stuff and, you know, stuff that probably people that are over 20 wouldn't really say to each other. Aren't Rooster Teeth, like, responsible for the term Let's Play? I don't know if that's true. I feel like no, but I don't actually have the data to back that up. Also, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's a thing now. Any tips for a person wanting to start their own channel? Pick a thing that you know well, that you feel very comfortable talking about, and only play things that you love. Just practice doing free association commentary. You know, today I'm very fragmented, so I'm really not making a fantastic example of this, but the ability to talk and ad-lib forever is very useful when you're doing Let's Plays. There's this really great thing that you'll eventually pick up on, where you kind of divide your attention just enough to always have a running thread of a thing you want to talk about versus a running thread of the things that are happening in front of you in the game. And I think ideally if you can strike a reasonably middle ground balance between those two things, you'll probably have a decent chance at good commentary. Obviously you want to make sure your audio and video are sorted out as quickly as possible. But with things like OBS now, like, video is really kind of a no-brainer. You just get the right setup and you don't have to worry that much about it. The audio thing requires a little bit of an investment, although not that much considering. I mean, I have a Blue Nessie, which is like a $70 to $80 mic, not even like pro-level quality or anything like that, and I think it produces fine quality audio. Nobody complains about the audio of my videos, and if they did, I would do something about it, of course, but I feel like it's just fine, and I think going through a lot of streams where I'm sharing mic space with people who have very professional audio setups, I feel like the fact that nobody can really tell or is bothered by the fact that my audio might not sound like their audio does means that I've got an okay setup going on. So, yeah, if you want to, just get a Blue Nessie, and it's not that expensive. Get a pair of headphones, set up a copy of OBS, and pick some games you love and just try talking about them for a long time and see how it goes. Thank you, Pure Stealth. I was gifted a Blue Nessie by a friend, and it was $50, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I got it. It's over a year ago, so it's probably gotten cheaper. It also may have been cheaper for a sale. They do have sales on them occasionally. I've seen it on Amazon as cheap as like $65, but I didn't see it for $50 ever. That's real good value. The blue snowflake is decent. If you mean the snowball, they might also have a snowflake, and I'm just not aware, but I have a snowball also, and I don't like that one. It's way too sensitive, and omnidirectional. Picks up way too many things that I don't want as part of it. You want a thing that will generally only pick up your voice as much as possible, so just an audio source that's right in front of your mic. Oh, and sorry, I wasn't trying to fire shots, by the way, saying OBS was simple. Truth be told, it's actually pretty complicated to look through the settings. It's just now that I've had it for as long as I have, I feel pretty comfortable with the settings. There's actually a number of settings in there that I have no idea what they do, but since I never have to change them, that doesn't ever come up. The things I do have to change regularly are stuff like audio delay and stuff. You know, obviously setting up scenes and things. I do that on a daily basis. That's no problem. But once you get into the loop, like, you'll have no problem after that. It's just the first setup, you'll want to follow a tutorial. There's a number, if you just Google even, find the Twitch OBS setup tutorial, it'll be perfect for, especially if you want to use streaming, and then basically use the same setup for non-streaming. Just make it save to local file, and up your bitrate to like 30, or is it 30,000? Yeah, 30,000. And you should be good to go from there. You'll get like almost Fraps level recordings and very low compression. You may want to invest in a copy of Sony Vegas for your editing needs, which is kind of expensive, I will say, but if you want to get like a lower end version of it, they have several like consumer edition versions that are cheaper, that may not have as many features, which you might not even need anyway, so go for, you know, one of those. I would say if you want to start out from scratch, you've got nothing other than a computer capable of playing games, you'll probably be able to get where you need to go for about $300. Now, I know that sounds like a lot of money, and it is a lot of money, but if you're planning on doing it for a long period of time, and you want to really go hard on it, you'll probably end up making it back over that time. Hopefully. I mean, if you are perseverant enough and can get through the tough times, that's the beginning, you know, probably for at least a year. It's going to be a really slow slog, and you want to try and make friends and network and try and make a series of some kind that is unique to you, that's got its own special flair, and makes you somebody that people would want to talk about. You know, if you have a special talent, if you're a speedrunner, if you are really good at, I don't know, making pixel art, or something like that, make something that caters to your own specific abilities. And then take that and run with it. And tell people about it, too. Make friends on Twitter, go to other people's Twitch streams, and end up talking to them in an actually organic way, not just pimping your channel kind of way. And eventually, once they get to be your friend, and they know that you are also a Twitch streamer, or, you know, YouTube personality, if they get to know what that talent is that makes you unique, they will very likely rep that for you and talk about you. I hate the fact that people sometimes think that because you make friends, it somehow means that you have this sort of codependent business relationship, that it's like, well, if you did this for me, I've got to do this for you. It doesn't work that way at all. If you want to do something because you like that person, you will do that thing. If you don't like that person, or you want to just be acquaintances, then that's the way that'll go. But you can't force that stuff. It's got to be based on what that person is comfortable doing. Never try and use people for their connections. It feels real scummy, and it will only end up biting you in the ass immediately. So, yeah, I guess that's kind of like the quick once-over that I would give it. I've been asked this question a lot of times, actually, and there is no foolproof method. All you can do is give it your best shot and do your best to mitigate the things that cause people to quit quickly. And if you can get by those first little bits of time, get a little bit of an uptick in your momentum, it'll give you the feeling you need to keep going on, and hopefully it'll keep you fueled to go on for a long time after that even. Just do it all for the nookie, there you go. So hopefully that was helpful to anybody. It's a topic that at the very least I can talk about freely openly, or fairly openly, because I, went through it myself, so I've got some experience in that. And I'm not doing the thing that everybody does in our Let's Play, where they're like, oh, I started my channel 2 weeks ago, and I'm going to give all this advice. Yeah, no, I've actually had a lot of ups and downs, and can kind of give you examples on specific things that happened and how that reacted to them. So I think a lot of it is just time, and you'll make a ton of mistakes. I certainly did, and I still do. But hopefully you can learn from them and try and go in a different direction that keeps you going forward in a better way. What's your favorite item in this game, ridiculous or useful? I really like the vampire knives. I wish that those were maybe a little bit more powerful, but at the right point in the game, they're actually fantastic. And I really like this, because it makes a fantastic rainbow happen, and it's really pretty, and I like the prism qualities to it, too. The dragon's pretty cool, too, but it doesn't look as neat as this. I just really like the little crystalline structure.